Get rid of the overlay?
No, I can give her the overlay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, all I have to do is tear this off. You could take this one with you if you wanted to show her, and I'll just tape this Mylar to this, and you can fold it back, so you can see what it was and what it really is, and I'll give you that sheet to take.
Okay.
Because I'll already have that. I'll make a copy of it, whatever. And then we can do with this one and this one.
Okay, but I'm not going to remember everything you've been explaining. Okay, so the parking lot's still pretty much going to be the same.
Parking lot stays. We're going to put bus parking down at this end, and with a exit out.
1 inch equals 2.3 miles.
The roadways pretty much stay. The parking lot stays. This is the footprint of the building now. It's 5,000 square feet. Interior space only. Doesn't include the exterior space, the exterior patio, which is what all this is. This is all the interior space. Training room, lecture room, whatever you want to call it.
The welcome center.
The welcome center with the experience. Food prep area, multiple offices, and they can be configured however we need to configure them. This red would be the footprint of the structure. You'd have a ADA ramp. You've got a covered front porch. The coolers would be outside. This would be a partition wall on the back side of the coolers and the storage, and this would just become an outdoor patio area. Then you have dumpster area, which we talked about relocating the dumpster over into this spot. That way this becomes a loading dock here, and then we can just have a ramp up. We'll make this dock a little bit bigger, so this area all in here will all become concrete dock. The ramp will be here or somewhere in this area, the loading dock, and then we'll also have a ramp for like a mule to come up and pull right up to that space to load up the food. What we can do is we'll take the coolers, move them closer to the building, so that when you're doing the food prep, you can walk right outside into the coolers and pull it in, whether it's on carts, whatever. We'll move this storage out here to the side, so when volunteers come up, they can come right up this way, get into the storage, pull out whatever they need, whether it's rakes, shovels, whatever the case is, and out they go. So that's pretty much the structure. 1,500 square feet for training and lecture, and that's pretty much that.
Okay, and then we've got the orchard on the back
Then
side.
the orchard would be back here. Orchard, small animals, garden area. This space here could also be enlarged to include some more small animals. So you could have this as small animal space as well if you find that you need more space for the orchard or vice versa. I mean, you can always manipulate this, and you can make this as big as you want over here because of where you're at. Then you come down to the vet clinic. The vet clinic is down in this corner. The purple is a privacy fence so that there's shielding from the other areas of the site. And then the vet clinic will have a driveway that comes up to it, so it'll have private access. The clinic itself will be 32 by 42, and this is pretty much the outline of the clinic. As far as the building itself, 2 exam rooms, a sleeping area with a bathroom, a kitchen area, and then you'll have whatever medical prep area where you can do blood and all that stuff. And then you'll have future expansion over here, about 16 feet by 32 feet. So in the future, if you find that you can get a hydrotherapy tub, you can put it in here. You can also divide this up again if you need another exam room or you need an operating room, whatever the case is. You'll have the future expansion planned for it now so that you don't have to do it again later. Then outside we've got 2 kennels, 2 big runs, and these could be kennels to acclimate 2 new wolves together. 16 feet long by 8 feet deep. Just give them a place to go. We've got 3 isolation kennels that would allow for after surgery, whatever, so that they're in a confined space, approximately, 5 feet by 8 feet approximately, and then with outdoor runs. so that as they get a little bit better, they can go outside, exercise for a couple minutes, and then go back into the air conditioning if they need to. We'll set up double doors here so you can get in, get big carts in, make the corridors nice and wide, and give an isolation corridor as well, so when you get the animals in, they can't go anywhere. You can kind of lock them down before you get them into these areas. That's pretty much it for the vet clinic. That's about 1,400 square feet of vet clinic of interior space. Then we get outside to the enclosures. What we have is basically, this is kind of the outline of the enclosures. This space here being the building that's in the middle of the enclosures. We'll do block walls up to 10 to 12 feet, and then we'll do sloped trusses on the on top of the block walls, and just do a regular flat roof on there. That way it keeps it simple, it's not obtrusive, and keeps the height down. Then what we end up with is 8 enclosures, 4,000 square feet and bigger. Some of them may be a little bit bigger because of the corner configuration. But inside, you'll have all of your kennels to lock them down and feed them at night, or when a hurricane comes, you can lock them down in there. We'll have, so that'll go all the way around the perimeter, which will give you enough space to do that. There'll be food prep areas in here, so that as you bring food out, you'll have places to wash your hands and do some food prep, clean tubs, whatever the case is. You'll have water in here. Then what we'll do, this structure becomes 140 by 60. Now these pods can be set up on the site in different areas, so this is pretty much a typical pod, but it gets you everything you need. Then what we'll do is we'll set up a pump room outside on the structure on each corner here. This will be the start of the waterfall. We'll have the pump room down below, pumping the water up to the top. This will be something similar to the botanical gardens, to where there will be an enclosure. This platform will be a little bit bigger out here, so it will create the waterfall. They can get in behind the waterfall, and then this will flow down into a stream. The stream will run all the way around into each kennel, or into each pen, and then it'll come to a retention pond of some kind at the end, at the last one. And that pond will take the water and pump it back, and it'll constantly recirculate. In this pump room, we'll put in a sump pump with a water vault, a water storage vault, so that when the water gets down to a certain level, the wells that we talked about putting in on site will pump fresh water into that water tank and always maintain a level, so that there's always water flowing constantly. So we'll do that on this corner. We'll do the same thing over here, make this one flow around, and we'll put another retention area over here, and then that water will pump back over to this one. So there'll always be flowing water. It may not be a rapid running stream, but there will be water flowing. The site will be probably 2 feet higher here and 2 feet higher here, and it will slope, have a natural grade back down to here. So it'll just do its own flow back to that retention area.
So no more foot tubs.
No more foot tubs.
Yay!
And you can always put little retention areas inside each one if you want to give it a little bit of,
like a little eddy.
Yeah, and you can do that in each one of the enclosures, so that they do have kind of a place to go, but it'll still constantly flow into that last one. And then
we'll have to figure out a filtration system as it passes through to the next enclosures.
Right, and you can do that with lava rock. That's what we did at the botanical gardens. There's lava rock biofilters set up everywhere. Okay. So when the water flows, it flows through the lava rock and creates its own biofilter, and then it flows out and goes into the next area. Cool. So we could probably do that here. So in some of these areas, you may have lava rock at one end, so when the water flows, it flows through the lava rock back into the next area. Okay. But that's pretty much what I have laid out.
And we can have 2, or we can actually have up to 3 of those and still have room for like cat enclosures.
Right. You could do another cat enclosure here. You could do another one up in here if you needed to, because these kind of stagger. So if you needed to do something back in here, you could.
And then people can access all the way around the whole
Right, the green
perimeter of, but to go around the whole.
Yes, you can walk all the way around. You could put lookout towers, in here if you wanted to, for people to get photos from, so they can get photos,
From
different
up
ways.
above.
Right. You just figure out strategic locations. You may put one, you may put it over here, maybe put another one up here at this end, and then when you expand out here, put another one over here on this side so you can get both sides over here. But those are always things that you can expand to. I mean, you can expand. Those are easy to put in. But what we may want to do is kind of lay them out and say, lookout tower, lookout tower. Just so we have them on the drawing so we can get it approved.
And then also the intern's bunkhouse,
right.
and manager's cabin.
Right. That we'll have to just lay out on here. I'll talk with the engineer about that and see what we can do and what we can call it so that we don't get in trouble.
Is that okay?
So we'll put a couple, we'll show a couple bunkhouses on here, but I need to talk to him to find out exactly what terminology we need to use so that we can show it. May not build it yet, but at least we could show it and have a place for it, because what we don't want to do is amend the site plan later on.
Can we do it in phases and get it approved as like a 2 or 3 phase thing where we would?
Well, I'll talk to him about it, because that's what we try to do at the Botanical Gardens. We took all the permits out at one time, and as long as we started, you got 2 years to do it. So as long as you've got construction going on, you can ask for an extension, but they'll want to see something going on, so you can just go in and say, okay, I'm going to put in the pad.
Okay.
And not do anything else. That'll extend it for another 6 months. But you can only do that, I think, 2 times. So you got to plan enough ahead to where, all right, we're going to put in, 2 of the bunkhouses. Emily found those bunkhouses, and they were like $1,200 a piece as a kit.
Little log cabin thing.
Yeah, like a little log cabin thing it had like a loft in it, had a little kitchenette.
They were cute little.
Yeah. So they could be intern cabins. Everybody could have their own cabin for the most part with their own loft space, and that would be where they sleep.
And then we need a work shed too.
Right.
For maintenance and repairs and.
So those are all things we can put. I mean, we have to figure out where to put it.
Well, I was hoping to keep it on that part away from the animals, but Kent had originally said something about back here in the back part of the property. But
Well,
my
that's a long
thought
way
was,
back to get back there.
well, and that road's not that good at this point, plus the noise with
Right.
the animals. I'd rather keep the noise of the sawing and everything towards
Right.
the front.
And you
if we
could do it
can.
up here. You could do a.
I just didn't know, since you're talking about buildings and the number of buildings and all
Yeah,
that, if
okay.
that would be
Well,
an issue.
We may have to add the.
Because my original thought was to have it somewhere around the parking area where, he'd bring, if supplies came in or whatever,
Right.
bring loads of stuff in.
Right,
And
so we
it'd
could
be
do it
easy to
over
get
here. That
around.
way you can keep the bus pull up here and get the buses, in and out, and just put the structure there, because then he could pull straight into it.
Okay. Cool.